everybody. Welcome to the Fred McNair radio show on this hot and sultry and humid Monday. When does fall start? Are we still in the summer?
I think we're going to be in the summertime for a long time, Charles, but we still got a lot of work to do into the fall.
I tell you what, it's kind of crazy when you look at the situation. It's hot, and there's no question about that. Join us for the Fred McNair radio show on this Monday night. I'm Charles Edmond, Braves head football coach Fred McNair, joining us here. Coach, congratulations. Trying to get your mic here. Congratulations on the win.
Yeah, thank you, Charles.
I tell you what, it was a victory that the offense was great in the first half, and the defense, I tell you what, in the second half, the defense was lights out in the second half. How would you assess, when you look at this game, you assess the way the defense really stood out? I thought in the last 10 minutes, Morrison really stood out, stepped up, and made some things happen. So just talk about, if you will, of the defense and how it really stood out in the second half of the game. And Texas Southern seemed to find some things.
Well, they did, Charles, and that's one of the things that Coach Tunn does so well on the defensive side of the ball. You know, he played very tough. He kind of stingy a little bit, and I thought the defense played a pretty good second half, considering that the offense kind of muddled up there a little bit in the second half, and didn't convert too many third downs. That's one thing that we really got to get better at. But the defense held up, and they were relentless, Charles, and they gave up a few things, but I think to overcome it all and just give up 15 points there, I thought was great for our defense. I know Coach Thornton is not pleased with that, just giving up those points there right at the end, that final touchdown there. I thought Cavante Key was right on top of it, but went right through his hands.
It looked so easy in the first half. I mean, boom, 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 boom. I mean, it looked so easy in how we scored the points early.
Well, just executing, coming out, playing fast in the first half. Charles, I thought the offense really did that, and the defense was stingy in the first half as well. You know, they didn't give up any score in the first half. So with the combination of both of those offensive defenses playing the way they did the first half, we was able to get up on them 27-0. I thought that was good in the first half. I thought that we could have scored more points in the first half. We got stopped on a couple possessions there, and you know, just a couple missed opportunities there. I thought we could have been better at.
All right, so give us a call, 601-877-6595. You can tweet a question, Tall Man Radio. You can text a question. We have a question from the text line, 601-348-7254. We're going to go to the phone lines right away. Our one and only Emmanuel Barnes on the line. Good evening, Emmanuel.
Hey, Charles. Good evening. Good evening to you, Coach.
Hey, Mr. Barnes, how you doing?
I'm good. I won't be long, but I'm going to take a little different approach. I want to say that coming off of a blowout win over Louisiana College, where everybody had their way, I want to commend you and your staff for getting that team focused and ready to play a very good Texas Southern football team. They got athletes, Coach, and as you just said, we got out early, got a fast start. Then when they challenged, we held them off, and it's only because we were prepared. And I know there are things you all gonna see to fix and all like that, but you know, that was a good football team we played, and I think you all did a good job of getting those young people prepared. If we had not been prepared, we'd have had a different result. So I want to congratulate you on that, on a short turnaround of getting them ready to play a very good team. And I'll hang up.
I appreciate that, Mr. Barnes. You know, just considering, you know, you're coming off a win like that against Louisiana College, then have to play a real good Texas Southern football team, which they do have a lot of transfers in. Now, I think Coach Haywood has done a great job with that program so far, and he's going to continue to improve some of the things that he does. He does it well, you know, and that's the thing that we had to do as coaches, try to get our guys up to understand it's going to be a real good football team coming in this weekend, and that we prepared those guys, and you know, and one of the things that we wanted to do was come out and establish things real early. You know, we say early and often. And I thought we did a great job of that in the first half. The defense played heads up ball and shut them out in the first half. So, you know, we have to keep these guys going. That's something that we as coaches have to do, get these guys prepared to play every week. And I appreciate your comments on that, Mr. Boyd.
All right, Emmanuel Barnes, of course, he'll be joining me on Saturday from Rice-Totten Stadium, where the Braves and Delta Devils will get together. And in all the years I've been doing this, first time we've ever, I think the latest we played, we had a 4 o'clock game up there, if I recall, one year. But most of the time, it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock is their home opener. it's going to be an interesting scene. And Coach Dancy, talked about the recruiting battles. We'll talk about that a little bit later on as we recap this game. Didn't quite start out, Coach, the way you wanted to. Foreman on the opening kickoff caught it at the 4-yard line. If you let it go out of bounds, would have had better field position.
Charles, that's kind of some of the things that we try to teach these guys in practice every day. We have kicks like that. Corey give us kicks like that to try to make sure we're making great decisions of those kicks. And I was kind of frustrated at Foreman for that because he knows let the ball go out of bounds. And we talked about that with those kind of things. In the worst case scenario, you first catch it, and we'll get it at the 25-yard line. But he elected to do either one of them, and we talked about it on the sideline when he came off. And those are the things that we can't do. We can't make those mistakes. And, in the accumulation of the game, he dropped a punt during that time, too, as well. So we just had to fix those things and give us another personnel back in that area there. So we had to fix that.
Well, we started at our 6, but Rodarius Anderson, who had a huge game, had a 45-yard reception, and obviously was a matchup that you liked because he was targeted all day.
Well, the biggest thing is, Charles, we don't try to match him up like that, but sometimes our quarterbacks really take a step away. And so happened he just beat this guy, and I know he did a great job of going through his progression and finding an open guy. And a lot of times, sometimes when you single out one receiver, you kind of get yourself in trouble sometimes as a quarterback because everybody knows that you're looking for that guy. In some cases, you're gonna get double coverage, and I wouldn't be surprised this week that Valley do that. But that's where you have to have more than one target in that receiving core, and we have a good core receiver that can make plays.
And that was definitely the case. We'll talk about the abundance of receivers who touched the football on Saturday. Of course, Rodarius Anderson had a big day, and that drive capped off by Noah Johnson's 14-yard run. So a 94-yard drive, Coach, in 9 plays, and a good start for your team.
And it was, Charles. That's something that we all talk about as offensive staff to, establish a drive, methodically move the ball down the field, and score touchdowns. I thought we did a great job of that in the first half.
So after that drive, Texas Southern went 3 and out. Then the Braves' next drive started at their own 26-yard line. Anderson with a 16-yard catch, Blair with a 19-yard reception. I thought he had a touchdown, but he had a steady game Saturday.
Yeah, Chris Brother is a player that's going to be really big for us too, as well in that receiver core. Does a lot of things well. We kind of moved him from the outside to the inside to kind of give us a bigger size target in the middle there at that position, Charles. I think he's going to work out pretty good for us.
Yeah, it was a good matchup there with Blair as he had a touchdown, and the Braves got deep into the territory of Texas Southern, and Rodarius Anderson an 8-yard pass that made it 14-0. Coach McNair at the end of the first quarter. It looked easy from upstairs, but what were some of the things that you were thinking as we were just moving the ball up and down the field and our defense was making stops?
Just the biggest thing is the young man's out there playing and doing the things they really taught during the course of the week, Charles. And as a staff, we break down films and give scout reports out to these young men, so we kind of know what to look for in the course of the game, and also from the defense side of the ball. Coach Dunn does a real good job of preparing those young men to play fast, and that's what I like about that defense. They play fast. I think the front 7 is probably the fastest I've seen them in a long time, Charles. They really playing fast up front. Just got to get the pad level down a little bit and just keep going, man. The linebacker core doing a great job of playing fast, and that's some of the things that Coach started really teaching in practice.
So it was 14-0 at the end of the first quarter. That takes us to our first break. Show your Brave pride at home or in your office with an Alcorn State back-to-back SWAC Championship replica trophy. They're $20 each and make a great Christmas gift or a desk paperweight. Order your replica trophy online today for $20 at alcorn.edu/foundation. Shipping and handling charges apply. For more information, contact Larry Smith at 601-877-2470 or send him an email, lsmith@alcorn.edu. Proceeds benefit Alcorn football. We'll take a break here on the Alcorn Football Radio Network, the Fred McNair Radio Show. Give us a call, 601-877-6595. Second quarter recap coming up after this from C Spire.
So you haven't washed your lucky socks since that fourth quarter comeback. 5 years ago. At C-Spire, we get it. You'll do anything to help your team win, just like anything we do is inspired by you. We're your biggest fan, lucky socks and all. From business to home to wireless, our inspiration is always you. C-Spire, customer inspired. Step up to number 1 and get Amazon Prime on us. Details at cspire.com.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we were separated. We were able to scramble each other and had no idea how to find each other. The whole experience was the most frightening 10 hours of my life. If there's one piece of advice I offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm. Don't ignore this message.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Visit beready.iowa.gov. Brought to you by Ready Iowa, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back to the Fred McNair Radio Show. If you want to go to the Valley game and don't want to drive, Gerald Quinn has a bus going to Itabena. It'll originate in Brookhaven, stop in Hazelhurst and Jackson. For pickups, they'll leave at 10:45 in the morning, travel to Greenwood, where they will get a bite to eat. And the loading for the return 30 minutes after the game. So $40 the charge there. Gerald Quinn is the one with all the transportation info and everything you need. 601-754-1177. 601-754-1177 if you're looking for a ride to Mississippi Valley on Saturday night at 6 o'clock. All right, as we look at the second quarter recap here, Coach, in the first, we outgained Texas Southern 140-42, and we held Texas Southern to a negative 2 yards rushing. So all that was good, but then the penalties. We only had one penalty against Georgia Tech. We had 3 penalties in the first quarter and a bunch of penalties in the game, and I know that's something that you've been talking to your team about.
It's an amazing charge, you know, that it happened that way. You know, you have penalties so short playing a D1 school such as Georgia Tech, and when you get in the conference, you seem to get flags for everything. We constantly talk to these guys, and I really can't stop the guys don't want to stop them from playing hard. You know, just have to just kind of minimize the things they do. Over-aggressiveness sometimes takes a toll on them, and playing that way. But I guess it's just so, I don't know, it's just so easy to make calls here now in situations where it's really crunch time and things of that nature, Charles. But our guys going to play hard. They're going to give everything they got, and we just got to continue to talk to them about the flags. And that's all I can say, Charles. I really just don't know what last year, year before last, year before that, and it starts off this year with the same thing. So we're just going to continue to coach our guys up to play the way we know how. And that's all we can ask them, you know, and just try and do what they're told and just play.
With the rules changing every year dealing with safety, has it made the game of football more timid than it has in years past?
You could say that, Charles, and you know, for that reason, you can say that because everybody trying to be the judge of everything that you do on the field now. You know, even from the things that you wear and the way you're dressed on the field, and for the safety of the players, and even with the helmet to helmet, leading with the crown of the helmet. So those are things that you're facing with, and you're almost kind of like most of the defensive players almost afraid to make a tackle or of that nature because you don't know when that blow gonna come, and sometimes they come at severe times when you're really moving and things are going your way, and then all of a sudden you get a flag for something. But you know, rules are the rules, and we have to abide by in charge, and we're gonna continue to talk to these young men about the way the game is played, and I don't know, play but one way, and that's hard, and you can't teach these kids no other way. You know, if you do, you're gonna lose something in the game, Charles. And but we're gonna continue to play our brand of football, and you know, just gotta make sure that we try and eliminate some of these penalties, Charles. We as a staff, we looked at all 13 penalties yesterday as a coaching staff, and kind of modify them to where, okay, that was a hold, that was a personal foul, but that wasn't, you know, in our eyes. I mean, that's the way we looked at it. You know, some of the things that we see on the football field, it may not be something that referee sees. And I think that A lot of times things don't get called because some of the referees not making a call themselves. You know, they got certain area they have to call, and I'm looking at plays right here in front of me. I got a referee on the side, but it's not his call, so he's not gonna call it. So those type of things that I don't know why, but they're just the rules of the game, and it's the way it's played.
Well, as we look at the second quarter highlights, the Braves' first drive of the second quarter started at their own 15. The last few weeks, Coach, I've received tweets about Dale Harris, and he got into the ball game and had some opportunities. Talk about him.
But he's going to be a great guy for us too, Charles. He's a long, lifted guy. He's a 6'3" kid, and that's going to play to his potential. You know, he's a transfer from Miami, and going to do some things well. He's a Jackson native, and he's going to contribute to us. You know, we got a chance to play last week, and got a chance to play this week, and he's coming along very well for us. He's a good target for us, great hands, and he's going to do everything right. And he's trying to become a leader, you know, in that receiving course as well. You know, trying to get these guys, just talking to him every day, and just come off the field this morning. You know, he was talking to a guy this morning, and just trying to coach him up and just playing the game hard, and that's the way you know how to play it. So, but he's going to be great for us.
Well, we were backed up on this drive, 3rd down and 16 from our own 9-yard line. You talk about big plays. We made big plays defensively and offensively. We were backed up here, 3rd and 16 from our own 9, and Noah Johnson with a big 31-yard pickup.
Yeah, that's some things that we have to teach him. You know, it's a lot of times it's not about the pass. You know, sometimes as a quarterback, you kind of use your instinct. You know, it's time to get out of the pocket, it's time to go. So he did that. He went through his progression. He got out of the pocket and kind of gave us a big lift right there, Charles. That was 3rd down and long, and it's not a play in the playbook for that, Charles. So he did a great job using his leg to get us out of the situation we was in.
So later in the second quarter, P.J. Simmons' 1-yard run made it 21-0, and then Chris Blair, we talked about a late first half score. I thought that was huge. Looked like we're going to go in the locker room maybe 14-0, but then a late second quarter score with 43 seconds left, and made it 27-0 at that point. I thought that was huge.
Well, just managing the clock, Charles, and I talked to Coach Stanchek about it, and we decided we was going to try to get it and score. It depends on how much time we had left to go in the half, and I thought we did a great job of managing that deal, and got a chance to get that score in the end zone for half.
It was 27-0, even though fans were happy. I was happy. Larry Sanders was shooting the video. He was happy, but you weren't happy at the way the first half went. Just talk about what got under your skin a little bit, even though you look at the scoreboard, it's 27-0.
You know, a lot of times, Charles, it's just the little things that as a coach, and you're always trying to critique those things that happens during the course of the first half. That some of the things that we could have did better. You know, we had a drive going there, and I thought we should have scored off that drive as well. We got stopped there, but you know, things like that, little things, and especially when you have opportunity to score, Charles, you want to score on every drive, and I felt that we should have scored on every drive the first half, and you know, because we were playing so well, and we had a 3rd down and short there, you know, and we didn't pick it up, and that really kind of got on the skin a little bit there, Charles. So those kind of things that we should get first downs on, and we didn't.
So it was 27-0 at the break, and we outgained Texas Southern, I think, 389-86 in the first half. So it was dominant on the stat sheet, dominant on the scoreboard. All right, we'll go to the phone lines here at 601-877-6595, 22 minutes after 6 o'clock. Cedric Foster on the line. He's usually in Tallahassee. Where is he tonight? Cedric Foster, where are you?
Yeah, I'm still in Tallahassee.
Oh, okay.
I've been having a problem listening to it. My computer kind of cutting out on and off, but I think I may have it right now. Coach, I'm so happy that we won that game, but I think you might have heard me saying some swear words all the way from Tallahassee. Being up 27-0, and I thought, I said, oh man, I hope they don't come back. But I want to ask you a question here. You cover these penalties because I'm gonna tell you, Coach, that drives me crazy. I went to the FAMU Jackson State game over it. Same thing. Coach Willie Simmons, good friend of yours. I mean, they was up on Jackson State, and every time they had a drive going, some legal procedure, somebody do something, that kills a drive. And Coach, I guess this is something I want to ask. In practice, do you have referees out there that kind of oversee somebody, if the legal procedure, that's automatically, that's got to be called, and bad personal foul. But then again, with the referees out there in practice, do you have any out there and to kind of oversee and to help out when guys are making a mistake? I was just kind of curious about that. And my other question, I'm thinking from MEAC to SWAC, then the officials, for some reason they won't let the guys play. Now my thing is a legal procedure, you got to call that. But sometimes they want to take control of the game, and it just takes away so much, because the same thing when I was over at the FAMU Jackson State game, some of the calls were just outrageous, and it just really it just kills the momentum of your team. But I just wanted to ask you a question about those two questions. What do you think about the officiating? Because I know here not too long ago, about 2 years ago, they had the MEAC officials going to a workshop. The NFL was showing them a lot of stuff, things that they could call, not to call, and that was one of the things. And the other thing is, do you have any refs out there doing practice to kind of work with the guys and tell them, hey, this is what you shouldn't be doing. And I'm going to hang up and listen. And wife and I, we are coming over the Baton Rouge for the Southern Alcorn game. And go Braves.
When are you leaving for that one, Cedric? Monday? Because it's going to be Southern's homecoming. It's going to be wild.
That's what I know. Well, I had called the ticket office and Alcorn Tickets office to see if they was going to have any tickets, and she said, well, she didn't know for sure. But my daughter, by the way, when I listen to the show, we going online, and I called the Southern Ticket office, and they said that I told them, I said, I don't want to sit over on that side. Go on this side over there, and we're going to get the tickets online.
Okay.
We're not going to, I live, my brother, he's all connected too. We live in Picayune over there. So after the game, if I come back to Slidell, maybe even stay St. Louis to Gulfport and spend the night, so that won't be so bad.
Okay. Okay.
All right, Dan. I'll talk to you guys later, and go Braves.
Thank you,
Mr.
Cedric.
Well, you have a combination of things, Mr. Foster, where you talked about the penalties, and then we do sometimes during the spring games, we do have officials out there kind of monitoring stuff. But these officials, these are high school officials that come down and do normally our officiating during the course of the spring game, and sometimes we have a live scrimmage. They'll come down for that, but just to be a SWAC officials, we don't have that many here in the state of Mississippi at all. Only about like 6 SWAC officials here in the state of Mississippi. You get referees out of California, Utah, Arizona. You get them from everywhere, man. And I don't know, but officiating, and that's something that I can't control. I do my best of trying to argue calls and the way I think it should be right, but at the end of the day, I don't have a say so on that. The call had been made. Had one official tell me, he'd make a call and then he'd tell me, Coach, you gonna argue a call with 27-0 lead? I said, you gotta be kidding me. This was said this past weekend. This was said Saturday. So that just to show you the mindset of the officials, and they trying to speed the game up and all this kind of stuff, but they still throwing flags. You had 20 flags thrown this past Saturday. 13 of them went to Alcorn. So I don't know if they're trying to speed the game up on certain things, or I don't know. I just can't really say too much about the officiating, and we just play the game the way it's supposed to be played, and we have to monitor our guys during practice when we see things of that nature. The hand placement of the offensive linemen and the way the receivers start blocking and things of that nature, and the DBs holding. So we have to monitor that ourselves as coaches in practice, to where these young men have to understand that's not the way the game is played.
Speaking of playing the game the right way, what about this Braves defense? You talked about the second quarter. There were chances that Texas Southern had. Javen Morrison, SWAC Defensive Player of the Week, he got a pick. It was a pick 6, but it was taken away by a penalty, cost us 54 yards.
Yeah, and that penalty there, I thought was a legit penalty. If it hadn't been the quarterback, they probably would have threw the flag. So Sterling Shipley came back and blocked on a potential guy that's going to make a tackle. But it was a legit block. But they called it on Shipley, saying a blindside block or something of that nature. But this guy gonna make a tackle, but you're gonna throw the flag. So, but that got called back for that. It wasn't a block in the back or nothing. So it was a clean hit. But it was the quarterback that he hit. So I guess that's where the penalty come from because of the quarterback. But who knows?
And that's why you look at everything, and if there are any questions, I know coaches all over the country send little snippets of film in just to get some clarification. You know, that happens every Saturday. We'll take a break here halfway through the Fred McNair radio show. We'll be back with the third and fourth quarter recap, final numbers, SWAC report, Valley preview. Coach Vincent Dancy, Valley's head coach, will join us. He'll talk about Alcorn as the Braves take on the Delta Devils. And, of course, Fred McNair will preview the winless Delta Devils. We'll take a break. We'll be back after this timeout.
WPRL 91.7 FM, Alcorn Public Radio, broadcasting from the campus of Alcorn State University. WPRL invites our listeners to join us each and every day for the best in gospel, jazz, R&B, and hip-hop. WPRL is Alcorn Sports Radio Network. WPRL is on the World Wide Web at WPRL.org. WPRL, it's a family affair. Charles Evans, Operation Manager. Shay Miles, Gospel Music Director, System Analyst and Internship Supervisor. Myrtle Hedgewick, Secretary and Traffic Director and Chair of the Mass Communications Club. Jamario Chavez Brooks, R&B announcer and producer. WPRL, your community-minded radio station where it's a family affair.
You are tuned in to WPRL 91.7 FM, broadcasting from the campus of Alcorn State University.
Magnolia Bluffs Casino Hotel is the place to be. Book your stay today at the newly renovated hotel. Enjoy a full gaming experience with over 400 slots, 16 table games, and a live poker room. Magnolia Bluffs also houses 3 great dining experiences. Try the Prime Cut Steakhouse with the best view on the river, their sports-themed bistro, or the Bandsaw Buffet featuring an all-you-can-eat seafood buffet every weekend for $16.75. For more info, go to Magnolia Bluffs Casino, all one word, magnoliabluffscasino.com. All right, halfway through the Fred McNair radio show. We appreciate Cedric Foster calling in. 601-877-6595, 601-877-6595. Coach, the second half was kind of a different ball game. We had 5 punts. Texas Southern had some opportunities. So just talk about overall the second half.
Well, I guess the biggest thing is, Charles, when you talk about the tale of two halves, and that's what it was, especially for the offensive side of the ball. And we scored 27 points in the first half. In the second half, we come out and you say you try to get drives going, and then the penalties come. So we just got to get better at that. I think we had so many possessions in the third quarter, and we didn't get any of them really going the way we wanted to, Charles. And that was the big thing for us too. We punted the ball too many times, and in that second half. And I thought the defense, they still played steady football, but they gave up a long touchdown pass, and then they come back and give up that in the red zone right there on the last drive of Texas Southern had the ball there, which I thought the kid had made a play on it, but just went through his hand. But it's a tale of two halves, and we then scored the second half offense, and then we gave up 2 touchdowns the second half as defense.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. Kermit in Dallas on the line. Good evening, Kermit.
Hey, Charles, how you doing?
Doing pretty good.
All right, Coach McNair, I'm going to say this for you because I know you can't say it on there, so I'll say it for you. Coach, you got some of the worst officials in the United States on there. And I think at some point in time, the president's going to have to look at whether we want to subcontract out the carpers what our officials might be, because I think they're trying to prove to somebody that they can umpire somewhere else. So they call everything that they see going on the field. And on the positive note, I want to tell you this, Coach. I got a friend who's an NFL scout, and I'm not going to tell you who he is, but he said that on All-Corn team this year, that you guys got football bowl championship talent on that team. And I want to say that commend you guys for the recruiting that you're doing. So I'll hang up.
All right, Kermit, we appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Sure appreciate that, Kermit.
Yeah, I know those are some tough calls, and I know you all, every coach probably in the conference sends little snippets of stuff to the SWAC just to get some clarification on, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we always do, Charles, and and the feedback that we get is not the answer that we really want. A lot of times, so we have to live with it and just try to get our guys playing the best way we know how, penalty free. It's not going to always happen, but the offsides, the false starts, and things like that, we can control that as a coaching staff. Alignments and things of that nature. But the holding penalty, we have to just make sure that we're trying to teach our guys all the right things to do as far as hand placement and that nature.
Well, Texas Southern got on the board, Coach, in the third quarter. They went 7 plays, 77 yards. Coulier, they played 2 quarterbacks, and Glenn Coulier, who didn't play last week against Texas State due to concussion protocol, played in this game Saturday. Talk about him, and of course, Hartzog was their top guy, and he had the first score for Texas Southern, a 23-yard reception.
Yeah, I thought that he came back the second half and played a tremendous ball game. The quarterback did, Charles. He did some things that was real good. He was 24 and 45, with 2 touchdown passes. So, with the receiver Hartzog, he did some great things. And, I think we kind of miscued a couple of Brooklyn had some breakdown in coverage one time on that score that they did. But, that's just the nature of it. Sometimes you're going to make mistakes in the secondary, and if the team is good enough, they capitalize on them. So that's what Texas Southern did.
And then after a 3-and-out on the next drive, TSU started at their 19, got to the Braves' 13-yard line. Coulier's pass intercepted by Morrison, who returned to 21 yards. So part of the reason why he was SWAC Defensive Player of the Week, that's his second pick. And, boy, they were huge because Texas Southern was building momentum each time.
Yeah, he's a little hawk in the secondary, that Charles. He find the ball and get in position to make plays a lot of times. And we just got to continue to improve in that area. And like I told Coach, we just got to create turnovers. And I thought that they did a great job of doing that. I think we had a fumble recovery there in the second half, and I thought that was great for us. So we just got to continue to give takeaways and not give the ball up. I know we had a pick there and then later in the second half.
So it was 27-7 at the end of the third quarter. TSU total yards in that third quarter, TSU 130, and we had 44. So 130 to 44 in the third quarter. But the Braves defense holding fort. So as we move ahead to the fourth quarter recap, Texas Southern with 10:49 left got to the Braves' 12-yard line. And again, this was a pivotal part of the game. 3rd and 2 from the Braves' 12. Little communication or miscommunication. Coulier fumbled, and it was recovered by Juan Anthony at the 13. 3rd and 2 from the Braves' 12. That was huge.
That was huge. I just commend those guys of scripting the ball. Is something that Coach Thornton worked in practice, the fumble drill, the script drill. So he does that more often in practice, and just to commend those guys of getting that ball breaking away.
Then we were trying to basically run out the clock. We started a drive with 7:15 left at our 13-yard line, got to Texas Southern's 42, and Noah Johnson's pass picked off by Joseph. Talk about that.
Yeah, we just got to be a little bit smarter than that. I thought that we should have just ran the football, but the RPOs shows different. But a situation like that, we just got to hand the ball off, or either just call a run, charge there. But 3rd down, and we try to pick up another first down, so we call an RPO and just so have Noah just threw it and threw a pick there.
So Texas Southern took over with 3.5 minutes left. Coulier to Hartzog for 16 yards. That made it 27-15. With about a minute and change left, Texas Southern with an onside kick. And guess who recovered? Jonathan Howell recovered that onside kick. Coach, Special Teams Player of the Week last week. How ironic is it that he sealed the deal as he recovered the onside kick?
That's right. John, like I said, he does a lot of great things on special teams, Charles. And, he's going to be great for us on special teams.
So the Braves hang on 27-15. The Braves 477 yards to Texas Southern's 294. Defensively, what more can you say? Just lights out. We talked about the penalties, but you look at the Braves defense, Cedric Thornton, I mean, what's the calling card? I mean, is it too early to kind of determine what the calling card of his defense is?
Nah, just playing fast, and that's what he teaches, Coach. And Coach Thornton does a great job just watching him, at practice, the excitement he shows at practice is kind of what he brings to the game as well, Charles. And, he does a great job of getting those guys rallying to the ball and those type of things there. But, he's going to run his defense, and it's going to be tough. He's going to be stingy at times. So, when I first decided to bring him a defensive coordinator, he was a defensive coordinator at Alabama State before. And, he wasn't giving up at 18 points a game, Charles. So I looked at that and his turnover ratio as well. He was forcing a lot of turnovers. Those are the things that he really brings to the table. And he's a great coach and great position coach, coaches linebacker. So that's part of the core, the front seven that we're going to be probably feeding off of and going to be able to do a whole lot of things on that front seven.
And 5 sacks to boot, so you had the 2 picks and the 5 sacks. So the Braves defense was all over it. Individually, Radarius Anderson, Offensive Player of the Week, 8 receptions for $168. Chris Blair, 3 for 55. Juan Hughes, 3 for 28. Charles Hughes, 3 for 21. You talked about Harris, 1 for 18. Talk about Nigel Wood. He only had 1 reception. Just another plethora of receivers in this unit.
I tell you what, Nigel gonna come into his own world, Charles, and he's a big target for a tight end. Got him out of East Central Community College, and he's gonna be a good tradition for us. The prototype tight end that you look for in a tight end body, and that's what he has. He's a tall, lanky kid, and built good, Charles. That's a tight end. And that's what we look for. You can spread him out wide and got good speed, run good routes.
Then running the football, I mean, we had some runs here or there. We had 32 carries for 166 yards. P.J. Simmons had a good game against TSU last year, 13 carries for 74 yards. Was Texas Southern defensively that stingy against the run?
It was tough, Charles. They were fast up front. They were really fast up front, and that's one of the things that Coach Stanchek saw on film. They was real physical. That was a good ball club, Charles. I'm not taking anything from Texas Southern, but they was very stingy. And then they was very deep up front. The way they played tough. It's a physical ball club, Charles.
Defensively, Marshawn Smith led the Braves with 6 tackles. Calvante Key with 5 tackles. Talk about him.
He's a freshman, Charles, and just like I said, he's gonna come to his own world. He's a lengthy DB. I mean, that's why it was just so shocking that ball got caught over him in the end zone there. But I'm gonna have to put his goggles on or his contacts on one because he didn't have me in that game. And I asked him this morning about him. He said, "No, Coach, I didn't have him on." But I grant you he will have him on the next time, Charles. But he's going to be a good kid for us. He's a 6'1", 6'2" kid that's going to be good in this league for us.
So all in all, the Braves with a big win over Texas Southern. It didn't count in the standings, but I tell you what, that's a good football team, as Coach alluded to. And that's a team, Coach, I wouldn't want to see in another month.
I tell you what, they're going to only get better, Charles, and I think Coach Haywood is on the right track with them. And good thing that we got a chance to play them early. Like I said, in another month, they're really going to have it going. They got offense that's going to put up points. And defense is going to be real stingy. I mean, that's what they do. But Coach Haywood going to get those guys going, and they'll be very good.
At some point, once the rotation changes, these games that count, Texas Southern will be in that mix, and it will count. These last couple of years with the rotation, it hasn't. But, as it flips, teams come off the rotation, teams come on. Texas Southern possibly will be a game that counts down the road. We'll take a break. We'll get to some of the text and tweets. And we'll look ahead to Mississippi Valley for first-year head coach Vincent Dancy. We'll hear from him as he talks about Alcorn, and Fred McNair will talk about Mississippi Valley. Back after this 1-minute timeout on the Fred McNair Radio Show.
So you haven't washed your lucky socks since that fourth quarter comeback 5 years ago. At C Spire, we get it. You'll do anything to help your team win, just like anything we do is inspired by you. We're your biggest fan. Lucky socks and all. From business to home to wireless, our inspiration is always you. C-Spire, customer inspired. Step up to #1 and get Amazon Prime on us. Details at cspire.com.
It's important to plan ahead for
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Visit beready.iowa.gov. Brought to you by Ready Iowa, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back to the Fred McNair Radio Show on this Monday night. Give us a call, 601-877-6595. We appreciate Emmanuel Barnes calling, as well as Cedric Foster and Kermit calling in. We got time for a call or two, 601-877-6595. You can text a question, 601-348-7254. We've got a text, we'll get to that. And you can tweet a question on Twitter, Tallman Radio. Speaking of Twitter, Coach McNair, from the Twitter feed, a comment: congratulations on the win. The offense has the potential to be explosive, but they thought passes were forced to Anderson and Blair while others were wide open. Will other receivers be involved, and also using more two-back sets?
Well, the biggest thing is, Charles, in in practice we run plays, and whatever the quarterback reads takes him. That's what we got to throw the ball in. And for whatever reason that it don't take them to the other receivers, I'm on the sideline and I can't see the vision of what Noah's supposed to do. But been practicing in practice time. I know what's going on during the time of each play, but some of the plays called. It's just whatever defense dictates sometimes, Charles, and it's not always to their side or whatever side, but we try to get all the guys involved in the play. So we just got to just do the best we can as a coaching staff to execute the play, instead of just trying to find one receiver or the other. It's going to be times where one receiver may have more catch than others. That's in the game. But other than that, two-back personnel. We do run two-back personnel, 20, 11 personnel at times, and with a tight end in the backfield. So those are the things that we do. We multitask, and we're going to do whatever it takes to win ball games according to the defensive scout report.
All right, we appreciate off the Twitter feed. And of course, you can tweet a question anytime, not just on Monday. If you have a thought about a game or so, if you have a comment on Thursday, tweet me a question and we'll definitely use it on the upcoming Coach McNair show. This from the text line. Of course, you can text a question at 601-348-7254. This from B.J. Jackson in Clinton, Louisiana. Two questions for Coach McNair. He was asking about the power running game. What happened to the power running game? Seemed like we don't have many powerful running backs. The secondary had a hard time staying with Texas Southern receivers. Your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, we do have power running backs, and it just depends on the things that they're giving us up front, Charles. And a lot of times that what dictates what we call. If they're giving us some front, we may have to go to something else. But we do have power running backs. We have Trey Turner. Waller, he was out this week, so he missed his game, and PJ and Foreman kind of played in, and Turner came in a little bit late on the game, but we do have power games, so we just kind of play and kind of call what defense give to us, Charlie.
Of course, John in Bradenton, Florida, with a text off the text line, 601-348-7254. The big fans of Quanzi Jackson. Talk about him, Coach. Number 52, Quanzi Jackson. Got called out a little bit for I kind of mispronounced his name and number on Saturday. Just talk about him.
Quanzi's going to be a great player for us, Charles. Quanzi played a few games last year for us, and then he kind of sat the rest of the season, and we were able to get Quanzi back this year, and I thought he did a great job of making himself available and getting himself cleared to play this year. Quanzi, he's going to be a big part of the defensive end package that we have, and then now he's trying to work his way back into the flow of the game. He's going to be big for us on down the line as well as the future, Charles.
Keep those texts and tweets coming in. We have time for a call or two, 601-877-6595. As we transition into the SWAC report, we're about done with some of these non-conference games. And, of course, unfortunately, just tough sledding for our conference teams out of conference. Kennesaw State over Bama State, 62-13. It was South Dakota State over UAPB. I'm not even going to say the score. It was tough for Cedric Thomas's team. It was Cincinnati over Alabama A&M, another tough score there. The game that was intriguing to me, it was called due to lightning in the third quarter. Southern was leading Langston 33-18. That game called due to lightning in the third quarter. And Jackson State win over Florida A&M 18-16. Jackson State is off this week. And games in the conference in Mobile. Southern playing Alabama A&M down in Mobile. Texas Southern playing U of H. That's one I'd like to see, a 7 o'clock kickoff. Bama State at Grambling at 6, and Prairie View at UAPB at 6, and, of course, Alcorn at Valley at 6 o'clock. So those are the games. Coach, offense, defensive player of the week, Rodarius Anderson, 8 for 166, and then Morrison, what he did with a couple of picks. Just talk about those two, as Anderson, the offensive player of the week, and Morrison, the defensive player of the week.
You know, Rodarius coming back in this year was kind of big for us, and especially for the receiving core. You know, he's going to do a great job for us in catching football and being where he's supposed to be. You know, just so happened, you know, he was available this game for us to have 8 catches. You know, Morrison, you know, he's a guy that started for us as a freshman. You know, now he's coming back into his own world and making the proper adjustment that he needs to make to prepare himself to play a lot more now charged. So he's going to be a great addition as well. So those guys are doing a great job for us, and hopefully on down the line they will continue to do that. And we get more of that. You know, this team has the ability to be really great, Charles. And what we have to keep in mind is that these young men every week in preparations, you know, now once the coaches leave them and be on the sideline, you know, it's always something different that you have to fight against with these players, and maybe not the proper technique as they do in practice while you're really watching them instead of cluing in on the game. So we just have to keep repeatedly doing the things that we need to do to coach these young men up so they'll be really stable in the game to where they're doing everything the right way.
And I'll have to do that again as we go to Valley on Saturday for the Delta Devils home opener. We'll hear from Coach Vincent Dancy coming up on the other side of this 1-minute timeout. He'll talk about Alcorn, and Fred McNair will talk about Mississippi Valley. Back after this 1-minute break here on the Fred McNair Radio Show.
WPRL 91.7 FM, Alcorn Public Radio, broadcasting from the campus of Alcorn State University. WPRL invites our listeners to join us each and every day for domestic gospel, jazz, R&B, and hip-hop. WPRL is Alcorn Sports Radio Network. WPRL is on the World Wide Web at WPRL.org. WPRL, it's a family affair. Charles Evans, Operation Manager. Shay Miles, Gospel Music Director, System Analyst and Internship Supervisor. Myrtle Hedgewood, Secretary and Traffic Director and Chair of the Mass Communications Club. Jamario Chavez Brooks, R&B Announcer and Producer. WPRL, your community-minded radio station where it's a family affair.
All right, welcome back to the Fred McNair Radio Show on this Monday night. The Delta Devils and your Braves, Saturday at 6 o'clock. The Delta Devils are coached by first-year head coach Vincent Dancy. They were off last week. He talked about the bye week and what his team can expect from the Braves on Saturday.
Watch some college football and have a little time to vent for a while, and also working on the little things with the team and, you know, better execution in certain situations, so it was good for us.
Just talk about where you are with your team. I know it's been a tough start for you playing Jacksonville State as well as North Dakota State. You know, 2 games in. Just talk about where you are with your team.
I think our mental focus is fine. We got back to, you know, practice on yesterday, and I think the guys were flying around, moving around quite well. You know, we put the past behind us. Now it's time to move forward. Now it's really time for, you know, conference play, and we got a good team coming in on Saturday in Alcorn, and we're just trying to get our guys, you know, mentally prepared for what they're about to face.
So, what does the Alcorn Valley rivalry mean to you? I mean, I know it's, you know, 2 schools, 2 hours apart. We know, you know, what the state of Mississippi provides Alcorn Valley, Jackson State, but what does the Alcorn Valley rivalry mean to you?
Not only me, it's big for the, you know, the university, the community, the kids, the program. When you talk about 2 in-state rivals, it's big for recruiting. So it's a big game for us, especially being in our backyard at, you know, at 6 o'clock at night. So it's a great rivalry, a big rivalry for in-state rivalry for bragging rights, but not only for bragging rights, but for recruiting purposes also.
If I can remember correctly, I think this is the first time that Alcorn and Valley have played at Rice Totten at night. I remember it's been like the latest I remember when you had a 4 o'clock kickoff. So just talk about the home opener and just the excitement of that first home game?
It's going to be a phenomenal game. Great atmosphere. Great to open up, with an in-state rivalry like Alcorn at home at 6 o'clock. So it's going to be big for our fans, community. Everybody will get a chance to come out and see, what we bring to the table this year. And I think, like I said, it's going to be a tremendous. It's going to be a tremendous. It's a tremendous deal for us when it comes to recruiting.
So I want to pick it up right there and recruiting. When you play in your rivals, Jackson, Grambling, Valley, are the recruiting battles still, and this might be a crazy question, but are the recruiting battles still going on when you're playing your in-state rivals like this?
You're always going to have recruiting battles, Charles. Whether you're playing football or not, you could be at a basketball game, it's going to be a recruiting rival. But the biggest thing is that when you talk about recruiting, when you're playing in-state rivalries, guys, you have to go out and recruit and say, well, we beat Alcorn this time, and, it would be a great place for you to play here, or we beat Valley or something of that nature. Just something you can tell the recruits, and that's one of the biggest things. But, all in all, that's about recruiting is about the kids and what you can give them as a university-wise. Education part is what we always talk about when you talk about recruiting. You go out and try to sell a university, not the game. The game gonna come regardless, but you go out and try to sell a university to the kids, sell your program, and for that most part of the recruiting, that's what we do. We try to make sure that these kids have opportunity to get them a degree.
Has there been a situation in which you lost a kid because you didn't beat? Like 1 year Valley beat us at Valley. This was 5-6 years ago. I mean, is there a situation in which you lost a kid because you lost to your in-state rival? He may have been an in-state kid. Does that happen?
Well, I guess sometimes, Charles, but I think a lot of times in recruiting, if you lost a kid to that, you didn't have that kid at first.
Okay.
But you just have to do what you can to sell a university, as I said, and continue to make sure that these kids know that we're going to probably be able to give you the best opportunity for an education that you can. And not only that, to play football, become a student athlete of the game. Jason Cables, he always have the 4 for 40 initiative. You graduate in 4 years to work the next 40 years of your life. And that's a good thing that we try to sell as recruiters when we go out and sell this program. Of course, they're going to hear about the Alcorn State University program, football program, but they know about that, and they know how we are built for champions and of that nature. So we just have to go out and make sure that these kids know, and let the parents know that this is a great opportunity for young man to come and get a good education.
Well, let's talk about the Delta Devils. They played Jacksonville State. They played North Dakota State. They're winless. They've only scored 7 points. What scares you about this Valley team? Well,
the biggest thing is, Coach Dance has done a great job with that program. You're going out and playing 2 teams at Jacksonville State, North Dakota, and you see them on film, Charles, and they really flying around to the ball. They're very active, and both offense and defense. Offense, they're going to try to sling the ball around a bit. They go up on the throw, and I think the offensive coordinator, he think he's the guru of an offense. So we just got to be ready to play, Charles, and that's where it is. I mean, you take a look at the stats for the last 2 ball games. Fowler, he averaged 202 yards a game passing. He's completed 37 or 67 passes. So they throwing the ball around in 2 games now. So they got a good running game. Not so effective, but the receivers are really good. McIntosh and Frazier, there's good receivers that's going to be able to catch the ball for them. So as a defensive staff, we have to make sure that we're in the right position to have some of those turnovers again this week. So they're going to throw it. So we just got to be in the right spot to get those interceptions. And the defense create problems. They multitask defense, so they get in different fronts and try to create problems for you. And so we, as an offense, we got to be very, very good at what we do and execute. And like I say, going into the game, we always talk about the penalties. We just got to make sure we minimize those penalties and just stay focused and play 2 halves of football, Charles. You come out and play 1 half, and then you come out and don't like to see the football in the second half. So we have to be able to play 4 full quarters.
On the injury front, will Waller be ready to go?
No, he won't be able to go this week. He still have some pain, a little bit of charge. Hopefully next week, Jaleesa get him prepared to ready to play next week. So he won't be ready to play this week. And But he's going to be a great kid for us. He's going to be a great running back for us. That's what he's talking about, the power backs and all those nature. He's a good back. Got great hands, Charles. He's a very skilled person. So we're just going to take the injury report day by day and see how he feels next week.
We got less than a minute left, Coach. These kind of games scare me. Valley's off. They were off last week. They're at home. It's their home opener, 6 o'clock game. Folks, they're going to be excited. We've got to match the energy playing on the road.
Well, just like talking to these players today in the team meeting a while ago, Charles, and that's one thing that we got to do. We got to be ready to play and stay focused. It's going to be a hostile environment. We got to go ready to play. They're going to be up, and Coach Dan's going to have those guys jumping around, Charles. And I promise you, we got to bring our A game for this one, Charles. We got to be prepared to play on all 3 phases of the game. So we got to be ready to execute.
Coach, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week. Good luck.
All right, thank you, Charles.
That's Braves head football coach Fred McNair on the Fred McNair Radio Show. We appreciate Emmanuel Barnes, Kermit, and Cedric Foster. We appreciate the text and tweets. We'll do it all over again. Same time, same back channel next week as we'll preview Southern on their homecoming. That's going to be a lot of fun. You're listening to the Fred McNair Radio Show on the Alcorn Football Radio Network. For our producer, Jamario Brooks, and the coach, I'm Charles Edmond. So long, everybody.